Okay, welcome you all to our collective calls that we hold on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Today is Thursday, and yeah, we're continuing holding such calls, bringing more people in. So yeah, it's always a pleasure. Let me introduce you the projects that are going to be pitching here. First of all, we got a project called PrompTale, representing Kim Jonathan, and also we got founder at Quintes Project, Rand. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. Be sure to check out your camera settings, your screen sharing settings, etc. Be professional, polite, and yeah, thank you so much for coming. So yeah, let's start with Kim with the PrompTale project. Dying to hear you out. So yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me. So I've been kind of like shrinking my deck for today's 5-minute session. So we are creating a decentralized trustless AI for content creators. We are backed by Google, NVIDIA. We are on their AI acceleration program. We've also been invited to Intel and Qualcomm, their AI acceleration program. So Intel, we're almost done finalizing the collaboration scope, and Qualcomm recently just has extended their invitations. So for an AI startup, we may be one of the very few that may be supported by Google, NVIDIA, and also Intel. So their criteria is like you have to have Series A, you have to finish Series A, you have to have some revenue, and also have to have like real AI technology, which they think we have a bit of. So getting back into more of our project. Now, everyone in AI probably knows like there's going to be a new engine out, there's going to be a new algorithm out, and the tech difference is going to be just diminishing. And also the data is a really important part of the training. There's already a lot of forecasts that 90% of the data on the web is going to be done by AI. So it's also going to be generic. Now, the core question is like, how are you going to differentiate AI in the long run? Our view is 3 points. So we believe that we need user voted representations. Content side, you need more content from an exclusive data set. Plus, you are able to create things at a production level. And also, we help users actually monetize through unique technologies that transform contents into product placement medias. So you already probably you may have heard like a lot of centralized AIs when they do like inference. Successful people, rich people, you get a certain sex, certain ethnicity. Now we know that rich people in UK, Korea, South Africa, they're all going to be different. So to utilizing the same data set, how are you going to get a different result? Is our view is user voting, federated learning, and as we do that, we want to preserve the privacy, which is kind of neglected in the AI space right now. So we've created a thing called proof of validation. It's a consensus that runs outside of our AI engine. It runs on decentralized hash power nodes, and all of the user voted data goes in there. It gets analyzed there. All of the parameters for the AI engine update goes to the AI engine, but all of the data does not. So we effectively preserve privacy there. For the content creation side, so we are actually backed by the top productions of manhwa webtoons in the world. So we because they have a real need for a safe AI to use, they are providing us some copyrighted, unsearchable, uncrawlable data from webtoons, and so we're training it, and we have an edge here, which other people don't. And also, we have a unique technology called context awareness. So, if you've used a lot of AI out there, having it consistent is really hard. Now, we have the technology patented that keeps everything consistent, and also we have more technology which keeps all of the objects consistent, meaning characters and things between the images. So we can actually make everything consistent. So you just need to focus on your story or other things, and we will be doing create the image side and creation side for you. With all of that technology, what we're doing is we're trying to combine our first product into like an automated one-stop AI shorts, AI Reels service specialized in animation.
Okay.
So we actually have a patented technology that puts ads into contents or videos created on PrompTale. So it's going to monetize for you. We have been invited to list on top two exchanges. We're finalizing discussions with three exchanges from the top 10 exchanges. And we are also going to be on Kryptonite. It's a show that's going to be aired on Amazon Prime in August, September. So, and we have Animoca, IBC, a lot of great investors. We hope that you would all participate. Our TGE is at end of March or early April. And so you don't really have to wait a long time. That's it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jonathan, for the pitch part. It was really interesting. Now we are switching to Q&A. So as always, guys, leave your questions in the chat or raise your hand. And reminding you real quick that we post all the contact details in the chat as well, so you can find TG email handles. It's all there. So be sure to check it out. Okay, so yeah, we've just received a first question. Let me read that real quick. What makes a federated learning model different from traditional centralized AI systems? And how does it directly benefit content creators in terms of cost reduction and control?
That's a nice question. Thank you. So, if I may answer, so federated learning has a lot of play. Google has been trying it out. Justin Huang has mentioned that this is a feature of like a lot of hash power out there. A lot of decentralized AIs have been practicing or pursuing federated learning because you can actually train your AI on decentralized nodes. Our federated learning approach is a bit different. We let users train it. We give them incentives to train the data, train the AI. After the users annotate those data, it goes into decentralized hash power nodes. Here, it gets the proof of validation runs. And so we protect the privacy of the users and we only get the parameters. Now, why this is important is because for some decentralized AIs, they say they will put their source code on the nodes, which means if you're an engineer, you can actually access the source codes of your AI engine. If it's Midjourney, you're going to be able to have a copy of Midjourney. Now, we don't do that. We have created our unique federated learning architecture so that the privacy is actually protected on both sides from the user and for our source code. Now, if we have all of this done, what happens is the biggest cost for AI is training and also inference and also the user GPU. So for the training part, we leverage data to earn training so that users pitch in. For GPU hash power, we let user GPU participate. So this will eventually lower costs for us compared to other centralized players, which means we can provide lower cost and better quality for everyone.
Thank you so much for addressing that question. We've got two more, even three, as I see. Okay, so let's go through them quickly. How does PrompTale's decentralized infrastructure ensure privacy without compromising the quality of AI-generated content? And how scalable is this approach as you expand to a larger user base?
Okay, so the insurance of privacy is pretty much very simply said, we don't actually receive any user annotated data directly, which means that we only get the parameters of the data that's analyzed. So there, the privacy is pretty much preserved. I hope that's clear. So all of the data goes into a decentralized hash power nodes. And from there, it's all discarded after it's analyzed. So we don't get any data. So now user GPU part, let's say you have RTX 3060 graphic cards. If you have 50 of them, logically, theoretically, if you combine them well, local pairing and so forth, you have full 8-card GPU, 8-card GPU, one H100. 1600 teraflops. And if you multiply that by several numbers, so if you have like 10K RTX 3080 cards, you have like about 200 H100s in theory. So, and if you can actually source that, we actually have an agency in New York who's actually sourced higher GPUs, about 36K in Indonesia alone. Also, if you have like NVIDIA certified internet cafes, where there's a lot of them, they actually have more than 50 or hundreds of those laptops which have higher GPUs. The hash power is out there, and so therefore the scalability is possible to achieve. It's just how much you can get it from the user side, and if not, then how are you going to actually access the GPUs in those internet cafes? Then you have enough to do a lot of things.
Thanks. We got three more questions. With the growing trend of AI-generated content, how do you plan to maintain the authenticity and creativity of user-generated content while offering monetization opportunities through your platform?
Authenticity, creativity. At the end of the day, we want to do a few things. We want every storyteller in the world to actually come tell their story. We want them to actually have their own art styles and have their own characters, preset characters, so that they keep on creating their stories and amplifying it to the world. We have the amplification tools, actually, because we are backed by the top productions, which means we are connected to all of the publishers in the world. So we can actually help you get your story on the global top curated platforms in webtoon, manga, anime, and so forth. So we can actually help you voice out your story. And your art styles, whether it be a local art style or just your 100% pure your art style, we actually provide you privatized engine options so that you can have that preserved just for you, and you can have your character just for you. So it will be authentic, it will be creative, and we can actually monetize you, help you have a contract with the production, monetize on the publishing platforms and also the AI PPL side and Launchpad and so forth. So there's a lot we really try to work on helping creators get more monetized. So we have like 3, 4 options already.
Thank you. I see. Another one, can you please elaborate who your target customers are?
So we've done some research on like who the paying users for AI tools are. So what we've seen is 30 to 35% are social creators, 10, 15 marketers, 10, 15 like designers, also about 10% game art creators, and the rest are hobbyists. Now, social creators is the biggest part, and why it's biggest is because everyone's trying to make money on their social. And the best way or the most engaging way right now is doing short or reels. Now, we all know that is very competitive and it's kind of hard to stand out. Through some hashtag studies, analytics, we've already found out that the animation side of things, webtoon, manga, animes, they have more engagement than that of just a general realistic art, AI art styles, or just videos. So we believe with our edge in the data sets and our tech, we can have a really good edge in creating that section for the social creators. Now, getting that said, what we're actually going to expand right away is so a lot of like cartoonists, let's say, whether you're a DC cartoonist or a webtoon manga cartoonist, doesn't matter. They start with a sketch, and what they do is they put that sketch, take a photo of it, put it in your laptop, and they start drawing and enhancing the color and everything. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to let you take a picture on your mobile. We're going to auto color it. We're going to auto sketch it. Of course, if you have preset things, that it will be done better. We're going to let you upload your dialogue, which you want the characters to say, and we're going to aim to like auto complete your comic. Now, this segment is not supported with any other AI tool right now. And this is a new segment and actually a big segment. So this is, we believe, social creator side, and this side alone will be a very big market. And this is what we're targeting. But we also know for a fact, like the designers out there, 50% of designers create realistic images, 40% create manga anime styles. So we can also suffice for that market.
Yeah, see, so let's check it out. We got limited time and also a raise hand from Lami. So please go ahead, Lami. Thank you for raising your hand.
All right. My question will just be quick because of the time. Good Jim, everyone. I would like to ask, I can see that the platform is created for content creators in the blockchain space. Are there provisions for because if you want to create a content, you need to have a graphics with your content. That makes your content very, very, very so. Is there any provision for creation of graphics with the AI as well?
I'm not sure if I fully understood the question because I don't really have a graphic designer base or that. But we're going to incorporate tools so that productions can actually use it. That's one of our goals. So if a production can use it, it means it has enough tools for, I guess, the rest, a lot of the designer or graphic artist to use. So we will, I believe that we may be able to suffice those needs as at a point, but I hope that answers your question. I can't be answering more detailed questions because I am not very familiar with each functionality that you may be referring to.
All right. Okay. No problem. I would like to reach
Thank
out
you.
to you actually. I got you guys your marketing as well. Maybe we can talk more on it later.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
By the way, you can find contact details in the chat as well. Just scroll up. We got 2 more minutes. Sorry, guys, but we got limited time here. 2 more questions, and we're switching to the other project. So yeah, real quick, is it B2B or B2C?
Thank you. B2B is a start of our business because the productions requested a customized LLM. Now, we are facing Web3 in a B2C way for the social creators to create their contents, for the people who help train our AI as also B2C perspective, and also who provide user GPUs. There is a segment which we have as a captive market of the production side, the B2B side, but we are facing the B2C side for user GPU, federated learning, and also the social creators.
Gotcha. And the last one, can you please talk about your team's background?
Okay. So our CEO was the youngest CEO for a public company in Korea. Our CIO, it was the CSO and COO for the top production and publisher. I was the head of Web3 for SM Entertainment Group. They created K-pop. I was the head of strategy for Samsung, Naver. Naver's kind of like Google of Korea. And I was also the CMO for like a Fortune 500. So, and actually, so I was head of core chain, QKC, was debuted on Binance, and I listed on Bithumb. So I have a bit of like Web3 track also.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Yeah, I think we can proceed with the next question. With the next project. Thank you so much, guys, for your questions. Thank you, Jonathan, for your pitch. So Rand is a founder at Quintes. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right.
Yes, correct, Quintes. First of all, hello everyone. My name is Rand Karachi. I am the founder and inventor of Quintes Protocol. And what Quintes is, it's a programmatic DeFi protocol solving one of the biggest inefficiencies in DeFi right now. The billions of ideal capital sitting in collateral as low yield protocols. And what Quintes is pioneering a new category in DeFi with a programmatic, stable asset that is engineered to create predictable and sustainable value. We're building an infrastructure that allows crypto assets to work as intelligently as institutional capital through unlocking the liquidity that sits in centralized exchanges and ethical engineering, transforming the way digital assets function in the future. So there are currently around $350 billion worth of assets sitting in DeFi protocols, and those assets create an average like 5.4 or less. Investors face two choices, like secure their assets in stagnant pools or risk them in volatile DeFi protocols. Those assets sit in DeFi protocols or even proof of stake stable assets. And while the sophisticated algorithms that generate consistent returns for institutions remain inaccessible to most holders, the inefficiency represent one of the greatest untapped opportunities in DeFi. And that's why I've dedicated 2 years of extensive research and built a research lab focusing on ethical engineering and solving most challenging economic problems. Okay, so what Quintes is enabling is sustainable yield through programmatic DeFi. We're building an over-collateralized yield-bearing token backed by Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins that consistently accrue value, utilizing prediction modeling, high-frequency trading, and patented cryptonomics mechanisms. The protocol also have a native token, which is QTS token, that users can stake it in the protocol to amplify their yield or rewards. The protocol whole architecture as well as the trading strategies are Shariah-compliant, validated by our Sharia advisors. Our patent pending cryptonomics represent over 2 years of extensive research development. We've analyzed over 300 white papers. I have dived into on-chain data and published that research as well. The purpose of that research was mainly to solve that inefficiency that exists in DeFi and the fragility in how most protocols designed to be unsustainable. And we're enabling institutional grade yield to be accessible to essentially all investors, even with low cap. So making the investment barrier much less for small investors with small check sizes. And then how Quintes works in a very, very simple way. Let's say Bob holds Bitcoin and he wants to maintain exposure and earn more rewards. Come and stake in Quintes Protocol and then issue QNT at a 200% over-collateralization rate. And the QNT is a yield-bearing token, meaning it accrues value in a consistent way, and it's actually engineered for a predefined rate. It maintains this appreciation through multiple patented mechanisms, including the mental redeem function, being the liquidation, as well as the arbitrage. The Bitcoin is deployed across different centralized exchanges, Binance, OKX, and the strategies deployed high-frequency trading strategies, and that demonstrate consistent returns across market cycles. Yeah, so going fast into I know that we're short on time here, but I can quickly go through the unfair advantage, and then we can go to the Q&A.
Maybe 30 seconds more.
Yeah, so what makes Quintes truly different isn't just the concept, but our proven execution. We have 4 fundamental advantages. First is the novel cryptonomics mechanisms aren't theoretical. We received an international patent and independent verification from 3 research labs, including on Model Labs and NOMA, who've worked with synthetics and Aave protocol. And then second is the predictable and sustainable value accrual. We've engineered sophisticated bag and liquidation mechanisms that maintain stability even during extreme market conditions. And this is just about performance. It's about security and reliability in all scenarios. And our approach has consistently generated 10 to 33% yields in our testing, significantly outperforming traditional crypto holdings. Strategies, as you can see clearly in the chart here, when we backtested QNT compared to Bitcoin, ETH, S&P 500.
Thanks, Rand. I will interrupt you. Yeah, we are out of time. And let's go to our questions. We already have some. With over 26 million in commitments, how do you plan to scale Quintes proprietary yield mechanism while keeping the platform accessible and secure for a wider audience?
That's a very good question. Thank you for asking. We're planning to scale Quintes, distributing incentives to users, as well as developing strategic partnerships with institutions to deposit liquidity in Quintes, as we're planning this year to scale TVL to over $100 million, and with existing partners have track record of bootstrapping liquidity in DeFi protocols. We're excited about this opportunity. At the same time, expanding Quintes market and continue development more innovative derivative products, potentially even expanding to real-world assets.
Okay, thanks. Next question. How does Quintes ensure its Sharia compliance while still maintaining the high returns that investors expect in the DeFi space?
That's a very good question as well. With our Sharia board member, we mitigate using any mechanisms that doesn't align with Sharia principle. This includes charging interest, using trading strategies that are not aligned with Sharia principles, such as derivative funding rates, option trading, gambling, or any practices in the protocol that is not fair for users. We engineer the protocol with the focus on users first, user experience, and user safety and security. And we also utilize the principles of Sharia to guide through that, to make Quintes accessible to a global reach.
Okay, thanks. Given the complexity of high-frequency trading and asymmetric arbitrage, how does Quintes manage risk to ensure stable long-term yields for both retail and institutional investors?
That's something that we have developed multiple risk mitigation mechanism to accommodate for. So when it comes to the high-frequency trading strategies, we utilize the centralized exchange of exchange settlement mechanism. So for example, centralized exchanges would experience liquidity issues or failures, or even hacks similar to what happened with Pybit, the protocol would mitigate this risk by using institutional-grade custodians. And institutional-grade custodians do have something called the off-exchange settlement that enable mirror those trades. Second, we only utilize strategies that have been tested across different market cycles. We've been running those with millions of dollars and use a lot of data points to ensure that the risk is managed.
Okay, thanks. Hope it answers the question. Yeah. If you guys want to connect after the call, you can find all the contact details here in the chat. And feel free to ask more questions. We still have some more minutes.
Malika, I have a question.
Go ahead. Sure.
Please elaborate on the competition. So I see you got a slide, direct comparison with the competitors. So can you elaborate on that? Thanks.
Quintes distinguishes itself in yield generation landscape through multiple different ways, and unlike many alternatives, it's censorship resistant, ensuring user uninterrupted access to and control over their assets, fully liquid, and it also built for scalability, allowing it to grow seamlessly with user demand. And then a commitment to transparency is centered in what we do with fully verifiable processes that build user trust. And we implement ethical mechanisms that align incentives among all participants, fostering a fair and balanced ecosystem that prioritizes stakeholders' protection. And most importantly, Quintes is issuing an over-collateralized digital asset that is actually over-collateralized by 200%, unlike many different stablecoins that are not fully collateralized or under-collateralized, or just collateralized by 100% or over-collateralized by 150. Having the 200% over-collateralization rate added a huge level of security. And the other protocols as well generate yield based on their trading strategies, while Quintes is independent from market conditions, meaning even if the trading strategies don't perform well, Quintes would maintain consistency through our patented technology. And that's the major thing that really makes Quintes stand, that it can maintain that through large scale and independent from market conditions.
Okay, thank you so much for explaining. That was it for the Q&A part. It was really interesting to hear you out. Wishing you best of luck in the future. And yeah, expecting you soon in our calls. And guys, by the way, if you want to hop in and be our next guest, just feel free to look back in the chat and find the form for participation, fill it in, and be our next guest. And also, there's a feedback form, so feel free to leave your thoughts about this call or any other calls. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. We'll see you next time. Cheers.